Meanwhile, as House Speaker Mike Johnson faces mutiny within his own party over the government funding package deal last week, Democrats are discussing what they can get out of the Speaker to save his job. The Hill's reporting that should far-right Republicans attempt a coup against their own Speaker, Democrats could offer to save him if Johnson then acts on the already passed Senate foreign aid package. That package, of course, includes billions in aid for Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, as well as humanitarian assistance for Gaza. Joining us now, congressional reporter for The Hill, Michael Schnell, who's been so carefully covering this. So, Michael, tell us how this would work. We saw a similar strategy when Kevin McCarthy was facing an ouster, and that deal fell apart. Do we think Johnson would accept it? Would he be willing to take Democrats' help to keep his job in order to get that funding to Ukraine and others?
Yeah, Jonathan, that's the big question here. Would Johnson rather not be Speaker or be a Speaker that was, in a way, protected by Democrats? That's the big question here. But look, if this motion to vacate does come to fruition, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene filed it on Friday, said that she could force a vote on it at any time in the near future. If she does go ahead with that, a number of Democrats that I've spoken to over the past several days are prepared to step in and protect Johnson. And that would happen if he moves forward with Ukraine aid. Of course, assistance for Kyiv has stalled on Capitol Hill for months now. The president put out his supplemental request around September, August of last year. That has not moved in the House because Johnson is facing a number of conservative Republicans who are apprehensive to send more assistance to Kyiv. So now what we're seeing some Democrats say is, Speaker Johnson, if you move on this aid, or if you putting a Ukraine aid package on the floor is the reason why you face an ouster, we will come in and protect you. And look, that may not look like Democrats voting for Speaker Johnson on the House floor, but there are some procedural things that could go down. A motion to table the motion to vacate would likely come to the floor. Democrats could vote to table that, and if enough do it and it has a majority of the chamber, that would essentially be quashed, and the House could move on with legislative business. But of course, the main question here is, would Johnson put that Ukraine aid on the table, and does he want to be a Speaker that was, in essence, protected by Democrats? A lot of key questions we'll be watching as Congresswoman Greene continues to dangle this motion to vacate.
And the House, of course, out next week as well, so we won't have any movement on this just yet. But, Michael, if Johnson goes for this deal and he puts the Ukraine funding on the table, what does the rest of his speakership look like? Where many Republicans, including those on the far right, would probably say, well, he's just beholden to the Democrats, and probably try to oust him again. Would we be in a dynamic where Democrats would have continually tried to save him? How does Johnson possibly govern his own conference?
I mean, that's another key question here, Jonathan. Of course, a lot of unknowns right now as we're waiting to see if this motion to vacate comes to the floor, what Johnson does, and how Democrats ultimately react. I think there are two ways this could go forward. A, you're definitely going to hear from conservative Republicans saying that this is a Democratic speaker, Speaker Johnson, propped up by liberals. That's the only reason why he's in this position. But let's also remember the current dynamics right now in Washington, right? We have a divided city where the Senate and the White House is controlled by Democrats, and Republicans are just hanging on to the House by a thread. Next month, Congressman Mike Gallagher set to retire early. That means that Republicans are going to have just a one-vote margin in the House. Now, it was difficult for them to get anything done when they had that 4-seat cushion. Now let's talk about how much more difficult it's going to be when they have that 1-seat edge. So it's very possible that if Johnson has to go down this route of passing Ukraine aid and getting help from Democrats, his response can be, well, look, this is divided government. You know, if we had a bigger majority, if we would have done better in the 2022 midterm elections, we wouldn't be in this situation. We'd be handling legislative issues in a very different manner. But we have a very small majority in a divided Washington. This is how things are right now.
Hey, everyone. MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.